Hello, I'm Todd Lees from Lotema Brokerage and welcome to our weekly video wire. Well, it's great to be back in Australia. Last week I was in Argentina attending the Global Grains Conference. That country certainly is going to be a powerhouse when it comes to the production and global trade of major food commodities, in particular for soybean and corn, but also for milling wheat, where they will have 8 to 8.5 million tonne to export this season, but also for Kabuli chickpeas, where they'll produce something like 120 to 150,000 tonne, of which most of that will be available for export to Southeast Asia and to the Middle East. Well, the last 2 days I've gone on a little crop tour. I've driven up the Newell Highway, which cuts up through the middle of the state of New South Wales, and I've managed to inspect many of the crops, particularly cereal crops, oil seeds and pulse crops, faba beans and chickpeas, just to see see if I could ascertain what the impact is of the excessive rain or extreme rain that we've received over the past 2 months. Cereal crops, faba beans, oil seeds seem to be handling the situation a little bit better than chickpeas, which we all know don't like wet feet or a wet root system. It's you can see the signs whereby plants are dying in fields because of extremely saturated soils, and this is particularly in paddocks where fields of chickpeas where they haven't even started to pot up yet. So that doesn't bode well. I mean, and I hope that that issue doesn't get exacerbated and the crop actually in those particular fields holds on, and we get some dry weather, the soils dry out, and the rest of the field survives and pods up and produces a crop. This crop behind me is looking very good actually here on the Darling Downs. They probably haven't received as much rain as central and northern New South Wales. Weather, you probably heard that in South Australia last night they received near cyclonic conditions with heavy rainfall, strong winds and even hail. That is definitely going to have an impact on the crops in that state, particularly for the milling wheats, lentils and faba beans. So too early to call today what the extent of that damage is going to be, but I'll certainly report back on that in next week's report. The future, extreme weather is also forecast for the next couple of days in South Australia and Victoria. More heavy rain and winds. Early next week, northern New South Wales and southern Queensland is also expecting a heavy rainfall event. So unfortunately it doesn't look like we're going to get a reprieve from this wet weather in the near term. So what does that mean for prices? Well, understandably farmers are not selling. So they have a lot of uncertainty in their minds as to what these weather patterns mean. Is it going to continue to rain? Will they get a run of dry days to help dry out their fields and to help their crops mature? And until that happens, the trade is going to remain very illiquid. For that very reason, prices have firmed domestically in the last week, fortnight, and that is being converted into higher prices on the international arena. Replacement values today for Desi chickpeas to the subcontinent are about $820 to $840. For red lentils, it's about $750. Green mung beans, $1,050. Kabuli chickpeas, $950. Faba beans to the Middle East, $350 to $370 per tonne. Understandably, these prices are probably well above buyers' price ideas, but I can't see these prices softening in the near term, not until we get a string of dry days or a run of dry days which will give the farmer greater confidence that he's going to produce a crop, that the quality is going to be okay. And until that happens, we're not going to see him re-enter the markets and offer up tonnage for exporters to offer to the international buyers. So it's all about the weather. I feel like a bit of a cracked record this past month because that has been the major issue for farmers here in Australia, and that's why prices have firmed and are remaining and will continue to remain firm in the near future. Well, that's it for this week. Thanks for listening, and I look forward to seeing you again next week. Bye for now.